Anyways, tell people, hey. All right, y'all, this morning on Exploring the Forgotten Coast, we are down here in Carrabelle, Florida. We're at Carrabelle Beach, where there's a lot of really cool local history, especially as it pertains to World War II. So you guys tag along. We're gonna go across the street to Camp Gordon Johnston, where they have beautiful displays of rifles and uniforms and vehicles that were used here for troops to get ready for D-Day invasion and other amphibious assaults. So you guys tag along and enjoy it. All right, guys, on this episode of Exploring the Forgotten Coast, we got a special treat. We're over here at Camp Gordon Johnston in beautiful Carrabelle, Florida. If you haven't been over here, you've got to come check it out. There's a lot of really cool history here, specifically World War II and some local Carrabelle history. And Miss Lisa was gracious enough to pop in here on the day that they're closed to give us an exclusive tour. So you guys tag along and enjoy that. And with that, Miss Lisa, you want to show us around a little bit?
Sure thing. I'm the volunteer archivist here, and this museum has been here in some form or another since 1997, so it's been around a while. It's moved many times, but this big, beautiful building is our final moving place.
All right.
And so we're located right across the street from Carrabelle Beach, which is where a lot of the training actually happened. And so if you see wonderful photographs in here, chances are they were taken right across the street.
All
which is
right.
pretty cool.
Cool.
Yeah. Camp Gordon Johnston was a World War II training camp that was established specifically for amphibious training of infantry. And they needed a place where they had a lot of water, a lot of freshwater sources that was easily defended. Well, Franklin County fit that bill for sure. And so they came in and they built a camp very, very fast.
Okay.
And it was really rough. They had no indoor plumbing. They had really, really primitive shacks to live in, barracks. And they brought in tens of thousands of troops here to train for amphibious landing. And some of the infantry divisions that were here, for example, the 4th, landed at Utah Beach on D-Day.
Wow.
One went directly to the Pacific. That was the 38th, and they fought in both Leyte and Luzon. And then the 28th Infantry Division trained here too, and they went to Europe. They landed in July of 1944 and moved east and fought at the Battle of the Bulge and the Hurtgen Forest. So this was a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
Landing an entire division with all their stuff ready to fight, that takes some practice. And that's what they did here.
Oh,
So
that's
pretty
great.
cool. So if you come into the museum, you're going to find that over the years, people have donated an awful lot of really, really interesting artifacts that represent so many aspects of this very, very large war. We can't cover it all. That's okay. But we've got stuff from the Navy, the Marine Corps, the Army, and the Army Air Force. And some of them are pertaining directly to Camp Gordon Johnston, and some of them are just simply World War II. And so if you want to come around, we'll show you some of the things that we have. In this area, we cover mostly the European theater. And we have this wonderful diorama, and I just love this, and visitors love this too. This was built by a World War II veteran named Don McLean. And if you look,
I know Don McLean.
did you know him?
Yes,
Oh
ma'am.
my gosh, that's amazing. If you look across to the photograph, this bleeds into the photograph. So it shows practice landing out of LCVPs, or what they call Higgins boats at the time, that could carry 36 men. You could carry a vehicle in these as well. And that photo, you can see the lighthouse, which is a quarter of a mile down the road. That is Carrabelle Beach. And that is literally right across the street from us.
Can you imagine sitting on the beach, hanging out with your family, and just Years ago, 80 years ago, this is what's going
This
on.
is what you see.
You just step back in time. That's so cool.
They did everything. They had explosives, they had barrage balloons, they did the whole thing to see if this was something that they could do. Land with their vehicles and their artillery and their supplies, and be ready to fight further. So this is really cool. And we have a couple of really interesting artifacts in this section. If you want to come around here, I'll show you. And this is a top secret copy of Operation Neptune plans. Operation Neptune was the entire naval, amphibious, and airborne assault on Normandy Beach D-Day.
Wow.
And this is the top secret plan. Pretty cool, huh?
That's awesome.
I even called New Orleans and asked if they had one. They said,
Told you guys, special.
very special. Yes. So D-Day, of course, was the beginning of that taking back Europe from Germany. Although at the same time, there was fighting in Italy, Sicily, and of course North Africa before that. But this was the beginning of the end for Nazi Germany, is them landing on the beach at D-Day, and the 4th Infantry Division was there at Utah Beach and participated in that landing, and they were here training. That's them in this picture here.
Wow.
So that's pretty cool, isn't it?
And they actually had the blimps flying over.
Mm-hmm.
Were those intel blimps, or what were they primarily used
They
for?
were to deter low-flying aircraft.
Okay.
They're called barrage balloons.
Okay.
And the company that was here for this training exercise was the 302nd Barrage Balloon Battalion.
Wow.
Very, very cool.
That's awesome.
So if you come to the museum, you will see a mock-up of what the insides of those very primitive barracks look like.
Wow.
And in here we have actual bunks,
Check that out.
coal stove, lockers, coal, a bin of coal with a scoop, and a lot of, original stuff like the windows, the screen door. Those were all in the barracks at Camp Gordon Johnston. And you see that it's got a sand floor? Yeah, they had sand floors.
Oh, wow.
They were pretty primitive and very, very uncomfortable. Cold in the winter, hot in the summer, full of bugs.
I was going to say, I'm sure everybody's dying to know, how did they manage the yellow flies and the mosquitoes?
I think they were just
tough folks.
all the men who stayed here called it hell in Carrabelle.
Oh, wow.
It was pretty
Where's the
bad.
purpose? We have to tell just the north.
That's right. That's right. So yeah, we really love this display, and this we actually had this in one of our previous buildings, and we liked it so much we wanted to make sure that we brought it here. So this part of the museum is devoted to Camp Gordon Johnston, but throughout the museum we have small displays. If we happen to have artifacts, we can cover a particular topic. This is our Army Air Corps. I guess you know that there was no Air Force.
Right.
In World War II, that was established after. So it was part of the Army. And the nice thing about this display is that this man here graduated from Carrabelle High School. His name was Kenneth Tucker, and he served in the 15th Air Force in Italy. This man here, his son lives in Lanark.
Wow.
And he was in the 9th Air Force, and that is his Air Medal that he was awarded.
We've got a picture just like that of both my grandfathers,
Were
but they were in the Korean War, not World War II.
Gotcha.
That's
This
neat.
man here was in the 8th Air Force. His son is a business owner in Carrabelle. And this gentleman here was from Minnesota, and he's an unusual one in that he was trained as a glider pilot. So we have his effects there. So that's very exciting. Of course, the Army Air Corps was training in Franklin County at Apalachicola Field. So,
Wow.
um,
What are you guys showing the theater here? I noticed we have a little theater section.
we have a 20-minute film that was made by the Florida Council for the Humanities about the 5 big bases in the Panhandle. So that would have
Okay.
been Pensacola, Eglin, where Doolittle's raiders learned how to land bombers on aircraft carriers, Tyndall Air Force Base, where they did gunnery training for bombers there, and they had an extension at Apalachicola, Camp Gordon Johnston, And then, of course, the former Dale Mabry Airfield, where, among others, the Tuskegee Airmen trained.
Oh, wow.
So now Dale Mabry is no longer there, but I think they're trying to establish a museum up there as well. So this film covers all five and talks about how important they were, our efforts of World War II. It's a really, really good film, and we have it on a loop playing all the time.
All right.
So if you come over here, this section, we have American weapons. A lot of people really love to see these rifles. Rifles like these are still out there, and they're great collector's items, particularly the 1903 Springfield, which was a very, very good rifle, and it was used throughout World War II as well, and was a favorite of snipers. But it has the Garand and the carbine, and then a British Enfield rifle.
Oh, wow.
People really love rifles, so they love to come and see the various rifle examples we have. Now, the Marine Corps did not train here, but the Marines were, of course, very, very important to World War II. They served almost entirely in the Pacific, and we have a small selection of Marine Corps materials, and these are pretty notable. It's very hard to find a Marine Corps fatigue shirt these days. And this Imperial Japanese flag was captured on Tarawa by two Marines from here in Florida, and was donated by the family when they passed away. So it's kind of exciting to have Marine Corps stuff on display here. So we have examples of communication equipment, like this field telephone, and walkie-talkies.
Oh, wow.
Like, it's hard to imagine today with our... This used to be how they communicated.
That's a brick.
In fact, we have a training film of them actually using these on Carrabelle Beach. Look at the size of that thing. Can you imagine carrying that around? Kids are so used to these wonderful phones that do everything, you know, including being a camera. But that's what they had to use back then. This museum serves as the War Museum for Franklin County. So we do have sections about the Vietnam War and World War I, and the more current wars in the Gulf. We even have a few things from the Spanish-American War and from the Civil War. We also commemorate those from Franklin County who didn't come home. So we have a Gold Star wall that covers 4 wars, including World War II. And that's in our theater. So would you like to go outside and take a look at the vehicles?
Let's do it. That sounds great.
I'm a big fan of old vehicles. 100-year-old cars that I'm working with.
Oh, really?
Dude, this is incredible.
Okay, this is a very recent acquisition. This is a communications PA system, military, from the 1950s. So when I told the curator that this is being offered to us, the first thing he said was, "Attention, attention, tonight's movie has been MASH." If you ever watched that movie, that TV show, the PA system that they were always making announcements on, this is the kind that they were using.
Oh, wow.
So it's, as far as we know, it's complete. Whether it works or not, I don't know. All right, we have 4 vehicles. This one is actually privately owned, and it's painted to look like what the Red Ball Express trucks look like. Now, I don't know if you know your history, but the Red Ball Express was established for 2 months in September, October of 1944, because General Patton, in his zeal, outran his supply chain. So he moved so fast to the east that his supply chain couldn't catch up with them. So suddenly they were stopped, and they needed to get food, fuel, ammunition, all kinds of stuff over there. So they established several routes, and one of them was the Red Ball route, and it was just named after the big red circle. What that allowed was for an MP at an intersection to give priority to this. And they ran this 24 hours a day. It's a loop from the ports out to where the front was, delivering food, fuel, ammunition, water, whatever was needed, and bringing back wounded or mail or whatever. They did that for 2 months. And soldiers that trained here in the 818th Amphibious Truck Company drove for the Red Ball Express in September of 1940.
That's cool.
So that's pretty cool. This is our duck. Like most vehicles on display in museums in the United States, these did not go to war. They didn't bring much back. This duck was used for training, and then it was used by the New Orleans Police Department for many years, and then was donated to us. And so, amphibious trucks were unique in many ways in that they were not just boats, but they were also trucks. You could drive them in the water, or you could drive them on the roads. And so we had at least 24 amphibious truck companies trained here at Camp Gordon Johnston.
Wow.
So now, yes, this still drives, but it does not go in the water. And it's a bear to block. This Jeep was the possession of a man named John Stallman, who trained here with the 28th Infantry Division. And when he died, his family donated this Jeep to us. And it's not a military Jeep. It's painted to look like one, but it's late 40s, and he loved this Jeep. And so it's very special for us to have it here. And yes, it still drives as well.
Oh, wow. That's so cool.
It's not easy to drive. You have to stand on the brakes to get this thing to stop. It's a beast. And this is our leafer wagon. Now, this is not original. It has some original parts, but the chassis is actually a little more modern. It's still pretty old. The chassis is probably late 60s, but it does have parts. The neat thing about a leafer wagon is, as a pickup truck, it doesn't look very useful. Look how shallow it is. That's because Volkswagens have their engines where? In the back.
Ah.
So there's not enough room for a nice deep bed. But it's nice. And yes, this still drives as well. So all of these vehicles will drive.
That's cool. That is awesome. Can I go up those steps right there? Can I go up those steps?
Yeah, you can. The museum is open Tuesday through Saturday from 11 to 5. We charge no admission, but we are very grateful for donations at the door. And we depend on not only the the generosity of visitors, but the Franklin County Tourist Development Council gives us grants for marketing and for improvements. They help us pave our driveway. And so they're very helpful. We also get support from the city of Carrabelle and the 4th Infantry Division, believe it or not. They send us a big donation every year. So yeah, we manage to keep the place open, pay our bills, and we love to have visitors come in and see our stuff. So you can come in, spend a half an hour, or you can spend all day.
You could spend all day here. Can folks donate online as well?
We don't have an online donation, although that might be something that we ought to consider. We do have a membership, but it's an annual fee, and it's fairly small. But donating online might be something we ought to think about, because that would probably help us. But yeah, we're excited.
Miss Lisa, this was awesome. Thanks again so much for
Oh my gosh.
taking some time out and walking us around. We kind of went through it quick because you've got a 10-month-old on the hip,
I
you got
know,
a
and
6-year-old,
but see, that's why we don't charge admission, because if you're going to the beach and you've got a 3-year-old that might last half an hour, might last 45 minutes, or may go complete meltdown the minute you walk in the door. The last thing you want to do is pay $15.
Yeah.
So we want kids to come and see everything. But we know that families have to, make their choices wisely. And to be honest, the other 2 museums in Carrabelle don't charge admission either. So you can see all 3 if your kids last.
Yeah, and this is a great thing to do. You've been on the beach all day, a little sunburnt, or I can't tell you how often people come to the coffee shop. It's
No.
rainy. Like, what else is there to do? Now they know.
Now they
Now they
know
know.
they
Miss
could
Lisa,
spend a half a day
we
here.
enjoyed it. Thanks so much. This
Thank
is
you so much for
awesome.
doing this. This is so great.